You guys want to know a secret? Rockstar is in full-blown panic mode right now because next week GTA 6 is doing something genuinely ridiculous by asking gamers to pay for early access to marketing material. You see, Rockstar's next massive GTA 6 reveal will premiere behind a Netflix subscription 6 hours before anyone else gets to see it for free. And yes, it's only 6 hours, but paying for early access to a literal advertisement is still completely absurd. But just as Rockstar prepared one of the greediest rollouts imaginable for what many expect to be highly anticipated GTA 6 gameplay, somebody just stole their spotlight. Unreleased GTA 6 material was suddenly leaked online for the entire world to see for free by a hacking group calling themselves CYBERLEEK. And the craziest part, Rockstar may have made themselves the perfect target, because while the leaks themselves are obviously a massive story in their own right, what's happening around them is way more interesting, because once you understand why CYBERLEEK says they targeted Rockstar specifically, some of their complaints are surprisingly difficult to argue with. But there's one enormous problem, and by the end of this story it becomes surprisingly difficult to figure out who exactly you're supposed to be rooting for here. So let's jump right in here and evaluate the timeline of events, because this is super interesting. Now, as you guys may know, next week on August 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Grand Theft Auto 6 is supposed to get an extended look premiering exclusively on Netflix, and this is a first of its kind partnership. I don't think any other video game in history has ever gone to these lengths to paywall early access to a literal advertisement. And not only that, but it's early access to an ad that is an $80 game with a $100 deluxe edition that features day one cut content from the single player mode. Hey, real quick, this video is not sponsored, okay? I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who has been liking the videos lately and using the new hype feature. It really helps out smaller channels like mine a ton. One of the things I've learned after running this channel for over a year is that this video is gonna get dislike bombed by the GTA fanboys who are white knighting for their favorite mega corporation. Okay, so if you want to help me fight those fanboys off, please consider leaving a thumbs up down below if you're enjoying this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But beyond that, we've waited 13 years for a new Grand Theft Auto game. This is the most highly anticipated piece of media in like my entire lifetime at the very least. This is bigger than gaming itself, and so if there's any game that doesn't need the hype or backing of a company like Netflix, it's Grand Theft Auto, right? Like, people are hyped for this game regardless of being backed by another big company like Netflix. So the whole thing is just bizarre, right? And again, this is only for 6 hours, because after 6 hours, this extended look, as they're calling it, will be available online for everyone to see. So if you already have a Netflix subscription, okay, great, you'll get access to this right as it comes out. But if you don't, then you either have to pay for a Netflix subscription to see this extended look 6 hours early, or you have to wait an extra 6 hours. And so again, it's not a big deal because it's 6 hours, right? I mean, it's 6 hours, who cares, right? Some people will, by the time they get home from work, it'll already be online, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But the idea of having an extended look, which is essentially marketing material, like, don't get confused, this is an ad, okay? This is an advertisement for Grand Theft Auto 6. That is objectively what this is, and this ad is coming first to paying members of Netflix. So the greediness here is insane, right? Because you know that Rockstar is getting some money from Netflix, right? Netflix is expecting some amount of people to subscribe to Netflix in order to watch this GTA content, or at the very least, they will not cancel it until after this GTA extended look comes out, right? So Netflix is in on the deal. They are benefiting from the release of GTA, and so of course they're probably paying Rockstar some amount of money in order to be the streaming platform that this appears on, right? It could have just as easily been on Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever the case is, but it's Netflix. And the reason that it's Netflix isn't just because GTA likes them, okay? It's because adults in the room are conducting business and money is exchanging hands. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. So not only is GTA 6 the most highly anticipated game or piece of media to release in, 30, 50 years basically, but they are monetizing the rollout of this game in ways that that we have never seen before in the industry. And that's why many people are saying that they are taking the greed here to a whole new level. And that greed is coming back to bite them, because just yesterday, GTA 6 gameplay and a full map have seemingly leaked ahead of the big Netflix reveal. Okay, so let's just take a step back and paint the picture, right? Rockstar was trying to be as greedy as possible and monetize the rollout in ways we've never even, not only have we not seen it, no one's even thought of that, right? Like, no one's even thought of paying for an ad. It's like insane. They're inventing new levels of greed above what we've ever seen in the industry. Okay, and instead of that being the first thing people see when it comes to gameplay, we have a hacker group revealing gameplay to the entire world for free a week before it's supposed to come out. I mean, this is almost poetic when you really look at the full timeline, right? The company has one agenda: maximize profits, and the hacking organization here has a totally different agenda. Not only will you not have to pay for it, we're releasing it on our terms, not your terms, and everyone gets it for free. Now, later in the video, we're going to talk about the morality of this hacking group, because it actually gets a little bit confusing. But this article posted on Kotaku says it sure looks like some new gameplay footage of GTA 6 has leaked online. New videos showcasing what appears to be gameplay from the upcoming GTA 6 have leaked online and are spreading like wildfire. And while Kotaku can't 100% confirm their authenticity, they do seem to be real and are possibly part of a larger hack tied to GTA 6's lack of physical copies at launch. On August 18th, a website named CYBERLEEK began posting what appears to be leaked gameplay footage of GTA 6. The site also has images of what the leaker claims is the full GTA 6 map. Some of this content is already being removed from the web, as you can see here. When I clicked on one of the leaked map images on the site, it sent me to an error page. I've also seen some video uploads on Twitter removed due to a report by the copyright owner. More than likely, Take-Two Interactive is actively going after these uploads to get them removed, seemingly confirming they are real. And I want to hone in on that point for just a moment, okay? Because there have been a ton of fake leaks for GTA 6, right? I mean, every couple of weeks for a while, it seemed like people were posting fake new information. They were faking like the box art of the game, right? Fake features, everything like that. People were even going to the extent of using AI video generation to create fake trailers or fake gameplay footage or whatever. And so this story at first glance seemed like it was just par for the course. It's just another nothing burger. It's just some other people trying to get some attention, right? But Take-Two issuing DMCA takedown notices over the GTA 6 gameplay leaks is all but confirmation that this is real, right? I mean, if this wasn't real gameplay footage, then they wouldn't even have legal precedent to take it down to begin with. Or maybe they would in some roundabout legal way, because it's like fraudulently pretending to be GTA 6 or whatever the case is. But for the most part, if a company issues a DMC takedown notice for a piece of content, they have to prove that they own the rights to that content, right? And so in order for them to legally take this stuff down, it has to actually be gameplay footage of the game that they made. I mean, it's pretty straightforward here. I'm not a legal professional, right? So I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I think it's common sense almost, right? Like, you can't legally take down something that's not yours. At least you're not supposed to. I know some people abuse these systems, but my point is, it is safe to assume that these leaks are 100% real. Take-Two Interactive has been spending the last probably 18 hours or so at the time of recording this video panic taking down these videos across the internet. And unfortunately for them, that strategy has not worked really well, because even as of this morning, I was able to just go on Twitter and just see the videos. They're just there. They're just out there. There's nothing they can do about it. I mean, they're going to try, right? They're going to try to take down all these videos, but it's just not going to happen. Okay. And now, obviously, just to clarify, I can't show you this leaked footage or the map or anything like that, because I don't want my channel to get DMCA takedown. Okay. Because the last time that Rockstar went after, or Take-Two went after somebody who leaked information around GTA 6, they got Exodia obliterated. Okay, so yeah, obviously I can't show the leaked information here, and in fact, I'm not even going to use GTA footage in this video for a couple of reasons. One, again, I do not want to have the crosshairs of Take-Two or Rockstar on my channel at all. Okay, and two, if you use M-rated footage or footage of an M-rated game on YouTube, a lot of times, which is very frustrating for me, apparently YouTube will shadow flag the video to not appear for users that are using restricted mode. Okay, and they don't even tell you that, which is super annoying. You have to manually check yourself. But either way, in this video I'm probably going to use racing game footage or something like that, and I apologize, but there's just nothing I can do. Okay, it is what it is. Now, before we dig deeper into the motives of this hacker group and why they're doing what they're doing and why it actually seems like they might be morally correct in doing so, we'll break that down later in the video. I need to address the elephant in the room, and in fact Insider Gaming touches on it here in this article. As those who have seen the gameplay may have realized, the game doesn't meet the standard you would expect just mere months away from release, and that has a lot of people worried. If you watched the gameplay like I did this morning, you would quickly realize that it looks pretty underwhelming, considering we have been waiting for this game for 13 years, and frankly it doesn't look like it is revolutionary or groundbreaking compared to what we already see with GTA 5 or even some of like the movement animations and such from Red Dead Redemption 2. So while many people had the expectation that GTA 6 would be a generational leap, the footage that we saw yesterday is kind of painting a totally different picture. Now, I will say, as Insider Gaming goes on to mention, that could be because according to the video's metadata, the GTA gameplay videos are from around 2023. So worry not, these are old gameplay videos. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't necessarily instill much confidence in me saying, hey, look, these videos are from 3 years ago. It's like, yes, but you know, like the skeleton underneath is still there, right? No matter what, in the last 3 years, they haven't rebuilt the game in 3 years, right? I mean, that did not happen. So what they've done is iterate on what we see here, which is underwhelming gameplay, right? I mean, hopefully they've improved the clunkiness of the character movement, and they've improved the textures, and they've improved a lot of things. Of course, these videos are also compressed, right? So like there's compression, which reduces the quality of the video itself and everything like that. So look, I'm not going to sit here and say that GTA 6 looks like garbage, okay, because we genuinely don't know. These are 3-year-old videos, but at the end of the day, I didn't look at these videos and really see anything groundbreaking. What I saw was just another GTA game, right? And that makes me very worried for the release of the game, so much so that I almost feel like this game can't possibly live up to the hype. Like, this level of hype has never existed in gaming before. So I just, unless this is the best game that's ever been made by far, like it has to be not even close, then I don't think it's going to live up to the hype, right? And that means, you know, I know these games are in different categories, but like this game has to be 10 times superior to Elden Ring, 10 times superior to Baldur's Gate 3, 10 times superior to all these other 10 out of 10 games in order to meet the level of hype that we see for GTA 6, right? It has to be, otherwise people will be let down. And I just, again, that bar is so high that I don't think it's even possible to reach even for Rockstar, and that's not even their fault. It's just the hype has grown beyond them. And maybe that's why we haven't seen gameplay footage yet, right? Because they know, like, look, once you play it, at the end of the day, like, it's a Grand Theft Auto game, right? Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's gonna look realistic or whatever, and maybe the game is gonna be fantastic, but when you watch the gameplay, it's gonna just look like a Grand Theft Auto game, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. There's only so much you can do with the third-person crime simulator, basically. Breaking news, folks, Omniarch TV from the future here, reporting that a second leak has just hit the timeline, ladies and gentlemen, and this new leak has one extremely important detail that completely changes everything, and that is the fact that the song playing in the car during this video is none other than Sports Car by Tate McRae, a song that I had never known existed. But the reason that this song is so crucial to this leak is because this song came out in January of 2025, which means this new leak video must be much farther along in development, because unless they have a time machine, the developers over at Rockstar couldn't have possibly put a song from 2025 into the game in 2023. Now look, you could make the argument that like maybe Tate McRae sent them the song before it came out or something, but at best you're talking 2024, okay? And just so we're clear, that's being extremely charitable. That didn't happen. This gameplay is probably from 2025, 5. That's my best guess. Okay. And the other thing about this gameplay leak is that once again, the gameplay doesn't look like it's melting anybody's face off. It's not going to light the world on fire. This isn't a game that looks like a generational leap, like it's been in development for 13 years. It looks like a new GTA game. Okay. And that bar is a lot lower than what I think people's expectations were for GTA 6. The expectation was this is going to be the best game that has ever been released in the history of gaming. And instead, what we see from now, what we know to be probably a 2025 build is it's just another GTA game, right? It's just gonna be a little bit better. And yeah, not looking great, folks. Not looking great. And by the way, the difference between a game build that is 3 years old and 1 year old or a year and a half old, that's a big difference in dev time. Okay. And so a game, or I should say GTA 6 at the development point in early 2025, honestly is probably not as far off as you think from the final build that we're going to see when the game comes out. Now, I'm not going to say it's not been updated since then. Of course they were working on the game for over a year, right? But still, the argument that, oh, it's from 2023, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, the game that's a 3-year-old build, whatever, tons can be done in 3 years. A year, that's a way different story when it comes to a dev timeline. Okay, like that last year is not, you're not rebuilding things from the ground up in the last year, or at least you shouldn't be if the end product is going to be of a certain quality, and the quality expected of GTA 6 is the highest quality that any game has ever been held to, or the standard has ever been held to, because it's been delayed so many times and it's been 13 years since GTA 5. So yeah, just had to interject this little breaking news from the timeline. We do have 2025 footage now, at least according to the song played in the video. And again, that is not music added to the video by an editor. That is music coming from the car radio in the game. Not looking good, folks. Not looking good. Anyway, that's the elephant in the room. The actual gameplay itself doesn't look like it's gonna light the world on fire. It's not gonna melt your face off when you first boot up the game. Okay, it's gonna be a newer, better GTA, but it's gonna be iterative, probably not like a total generational leap, at least according to what we saw. But as I said before, the most interesting part of the story isn't even the leaks themselves, it's the timeline and the motive behind why this was leaked in the first place. This article was just posted by Kotaku. Group claiming responsibility for supposed GTA 6 gameplay leak demands end to digital pre-orders. Quote, if publishers want revenue before launch, they can press discs. Pre-orders were not created for gamers. Several new video clips of what really does look like actual GTA 6 footage leaked online and began to circulate rapidly. The clips appear to be coming from a website called CYBERLEEK and include footage of driving, Jason playing basketball, and what could be the game's entire map. It's a pretty brutal leak, especially just days before the big Netflix hosted gameplay reveal. But apart from the gameplay itself, what's interesting about this is the hacker group itself and what it claims to represent. The CYBERLEEK website contains a lengthy manifesto railing against the rise of monetization schemes in video games, such as live service titles, the selling of digital licenses to games instead of actual ownership, locked content on discs under the guise of DLC, and games being shut down entirely. Quote, every year anti-consumerism tightens its grip and every year gamers get less for what they pay, it reads. Now, instead of just taking Kotaku's word for it, I went directly to CYBERLEEK's website, and I do not recommend you do that, and I especially do not recommend that you download anything off their website. We'll talk about why in a second, but I'm literally telling you, don't even visit the site. You must not, okay? You must not do that. But I did capture the CYBERLEEK edict that they posted on their website, and this is the entire manifesto that Kotaku just referenced. Okay, let's read through it here and we'll touch on their points. CYBERLEEK was born in the networks. It has seen what gaming can be at its best, and it has watched what the industry did to it. Slowly, methodically, one monetization scheme at a time. Publishers sell licenses and call them purchases. They ship unfinished games and call them living services. They lock content on discs and call it DLC. They kill games and keep the money. Every year anti-consumerism tightens its grip, and every year gamers get less for what they pay. To fight this war, CYBERLEEK is raising funds for a secret project. The specifics cannot be revealed yet. Showing the cards to the big corporations would only give them time to build their defenses. Let it be absolutely clear, this is not a cash grab. Funding is directed toward the infrastructure needed to strike, as well as the security and protection required to withstand the inevitable corporate counterattacks. Now, we're going to talk about this secret project later in the video, but I first want to talk about why CYBERLEEK alleges that they did this in the first place. Okay, so let's continue reading on. CYBERLEEK has been patient. That patience is over. What follows are 3 commandments. If CYBERLEEK targets a publisher, it is because that publisher broke one. CYBERLEEK will not stop until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to be better. Words are not enough. Restitution is mandatory. Commandment 1, thou shalt not sell digital pre-orders. Oh my god. Oh, based, bro. Oh, based. No consumer shall pay for a game through digital storefronts before release and independent review. Physical pre-orders for tangible media remain permitted. Pre-orders were not created for gamers. They were created because physical discs had manufacturing limits. In digital distribution, there is no inventory. There is no stock shortage. A digital copy cannot sell out. Yet publishers kept the pre-order system and stripped away its only consumer benefit. Now, gamers pay early and receive nothing in return except a countdown timer and a cosmetic skin. If publishers want revenue before launch, they can press discs, print boxes, put them on shelves, earn that money through physical production. Okay, let's talk about this here for a second, because this is absolutely 100% true, irrefutably and objectively. They came out spitting with this, bro. There is no reason. Look at me, never pre-order a digital game. I understand people are excited for GTA 6. I, at least earlier this year, was excited for GTA 6 as well. Since then, a lot of the scummy business practices around Rockstar have really rubbed me the wrong way, and I personally will probably be waiting a little bit before I actually give the game a try. But either way, pre-ordering a digital game makes absolutely no sense. I am old enough to remember back in the day, okay, that pre-orders were kind of, for big titles, almost necessary. Especially, I lived in a tiny town upstate in New York. Not only were there potentially limitations for manufacturing discs, like they just can't manufacture enough in time for launch, but also like stores would want to know how much to allocate, right? You don't want to send 100 copies to a tiny store upstate that's only going to sell 40 of them, right? 60 are going to sit on the shelves and it's going to be sold out in Manhattan. And so like I understand the logistics behind pre-orders back in 2001, okay, but we are not in 2001 anymore, because these games, as soon as they launch at midnight, you can download them, right? And it's like, oh well, what about early download? Like, you should be able to download the game. Okay, let players download the game early, and if they don't pay on day one, you don't get to play the game. Like, let's stop pretending like there aren't ways for them to prevent people from playing the game on day one. Like, what are we talking about? So out of the gate, commandment 1 here is absolutely bulletproof. There is no arguments against this. It is logically almost the only correct opinion, if we're being honest here. Like, I can understand you might be somebody who pre-orders games digitally, right? But objectively, there is no value there, right? There's no actual value. Oh, they're giving me a skin. Okay, great news. That means the skin was already made before you got the game. You understand? They cut it from the game just to sell you the pre-order. You're getting clowned either way. It's just whether you recognize it or not. Let's move on to commandment 2. Thou shalt not sell fake single player DLC. No publisher shall sell access to single player content already present in the base game files that the consumer purchased. This means no unlock keys, no 1 megabyte placeholder files, no toggling a variable from locked to unlocked for content already on the disc or in the download. When somebody pays $70 for a game, they buy the data, all of it. Selling them a file that flips locked equals true to locked equals false for a single player mission, character, weapon, or story chapter is charging them twice for the same product. Again, there isn't a logical or cohesive counter argument to this commandment, right? They are objectively right. The content is available on day one. It's already made, right? It was already, they already paid the developers to make it. They already paid the artist. All of that is paid for already, right? So it's already done. That is a sunk cost. So you're not paying for them to make more content. The content's already made. You're paying more for content that's already there. Does that make sense? Like the reason, and it's actually kind of sad, and again, I feel like I'm an old man here, but it's sad to see just how spineless the consumers in the gaming industry have been when it comes to day one DLC, right? At this point, people just accept it. They're like, oh, day one DLC, like that's just industry standard now. And it's like, it didn't used to be that way. People used to actually have balls. People used to actually stand up for what they believe in. And now everyone just bends over backwards for the corporation. But people like myself who've been around the whole time, I remember the backlash that day one DLC used to rightfully get. Okay, let me use an analogy here. Okay, imagine you go to your local grocery store and they have a cake, okay, a birthday cake with icing. It says happy birthday. It's all beautiful and it's got decorations and whatever the case is, it says happy birthday, right? And you go to buy the cake, right? The cake is already finished. It's already complete in the box. And when you get to checkout, they scrape off the icing. And they say, okay, if you wanted to say happy birthday, that's another $5. And it's like, buddy, it's already done. You've already done it. What are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, no, it's extra content. It's like, no one would stand for that. Okay. And that is literally, I don't mean to exaggerate here, but that is literally what they are doing. They are making the game and then they're just taking pieces out of it to sell you for an extra $20. Absolutely insane. Moving on to commandment 3, thou shalt preserve single player content. Any game featuring single player content must include an offline fallback state. When server support ends, the publisher must release a final patch that unlocks all single player content for local indefinite play. The crew had a single player campaign, people paid full price, then Ubisoft shut down the servers and the entire game died, including the solo content. No refund, no patch, no alternative. Single player content depends on one thing: the hardware the consumer already owns. Breaking it when servers go down is theft. Again, commandment 3, I can't think of a logical counter argument. This is the morally and logically correct opinion to have. Okay, there is just no analogous system set up in place outside of tech, right? I mean, like, imagine you buy a charcoal grill, okay, from a company called Grill Master, and then in 5 years, Grill Masters knock on your door. They're like, hey, buddy, we actually went out of business, and so your license is no longer valid. And then they take your grill and throw it in the back of their truck and drive away, right? And they don't give you a refund. They just steal your grill. Like, that's what happens when these servers get shut down. You lose what you paid for. And this is for some reason just accepted in the digital landscape, but it's not something that happens anywhere else. In any other thing you spend your money on, this is not the case, right? This is why I love watching Lewis Rossman so much, because he gets it. Like, he actually gets it, and so many people have just grown jaded to the whole thing. It's insane. Let's finish off with what CYBERLEEK says here with their final word. These 3 commandments are the floor, not the ceiling of what is acceptable. If publishers violate them, they will be targeted. CYBERLEEK will continue to disrupt their operations until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to fix the harm they caused. No private negotiations, no quiet settlements. The public sees it or the leaks do not stop. Publishers should beware. If CYBERLEEK can reach Rockstar, no one is safe. This is a message to all big corpo: behave or be the next target. This is the CYBERLEEK edict and it is non-negotiable. Okay, so that is the complete message they posted on their sketchy website. These are their listed objectives or goals for the gaming industry. Okay, and when you look at GTA 6, I think it is kind of in a situation where GTA 6 really did put the target on their own back. They almost did this to themselves through behaviors like we discussed earlier in the video, with paywalling an advertisement to the most highly anticipated game of our lifetime, right? But that's not where their sins end. That's not even where they began. In fact, I posted this over on Twitter. They upcharged players at pre-order for a deluxe edition that's just day one cut content, right? And as we now know, according to Take-Two, apparently the deluxe edition actually outsold the standard edition at pre-order pre-order. Okay, the $100 copy sold more units allegedly than the $80 copy. And also, let's not forget that the $80 price point is at the very cutting edge, the upper limit of the entire gaming industry, all thanks to Mario Kart World, right? Which is just funny that like we still have to take a jab at Nintendo here, because objectively this is partially their fault. They might have done $80 either way, but still Nintendo beat them to the greediest punch imaginable. But either way, out of the gate, they came out with a high price point, but a lot of people were able to look the other way, right? I mean, they've been waiting for this game for 13 years. Sure, they'll pay $80, no problem, especially if they're going to play the game for the next 13 years, right? Like $80 is it's a no-brainer. $100 even is a no-brainer to them. So of course they paid for it. But then it came out that there's no physical copy, right? Everyone thought, oh, okay, well, you know, they're just doing code in the box at launch in order to prevent leaks, which by the way, I thought that was a reasonably valid discussion or point. Turns out I was wrong. Actually, the game leaked with or without a physical copy. It leaked really early, actually way earlier than if it had just been printed on a disc. You understand? Okay, so that argument goes out the window, and now we find out that they were originally gonna put it on a disc, but later down the line, after the game's already out, now it's just like, nope, no physical copy. They're just not gonna do it, right? And now we also know that Sony is doubling down, saying like, yeah, we're not even gonna make any physical games ever after 2028. And on top of all of that, there's no gameplay trailer. We still don't have an actual gameplay trailer for GTA 6 at the time of recording this video. We are just mere months away from this game coming out, and the only official gameplay we've seen is leaked gameplay. So players are spending their hard-earned money on a game that they haven't even seen. They've seen trailers, right? But everyone knows that you can't judge a product based on its trailer, because the trailer oftentimes looks even better than the actual game, right? So when you take a look at this laundry list of increasingly more and more greedy practices by Take-Two and Rockstar, I find that there's just no room for sympathy here, right? I just can't feel bad for them. Now look, do I feel bad for the artists that worked on the game? Sure. Do I feel bad for the individual developers or the team that put all their blood, sweat, and tears into this game? Sure, I feel bad for them, right? Because they're kind of, you know, that big reveal moment is being taken from them. You know, they worked so hard on this game for so long, they wanted to see the world react to their work all at the same time, and now that's been rug pulled from them. But at the end of the day, when you have a company like Take-Two that is exceptionally greedy with something like this, sometimes that greed has consequences, right? I mean, this is something that you learn even as a small child. Don't be greedy, right? There's a reason people tell you as a kid to not be too greedy. Share your toys with your friends, share the bag of chips with your buddy or your cousin at the party or whatever. Like, if you're going to have the most greedy rollout of a game in history, then you kind of can't be surprised when somebody gets pissed off at you for it enough to go to these lengths to release massive leaks of your game ahead of what should have been the big reveal over at Netflix. But now this is actually second place, right? Netflix is not getting the first look at Grand Theft Auto 6. It's getting the second look, and the whole world already saw the first one, right? So it kind of like takes the whole, but I don't even care about what they show on Netflix at this point, because it's like, we already saw the game. Like, what else could you show me? Sure, a polished up version of it, fine, I'll watch it 6 hours later, who cares? And so the consequences of Rockstar and Take-Two's actions surrounding the greed of GTA 6 put the target on their own back. They took their shirt off and painted it themselves. And again, I can't feel bad about that. And really, this hacker group has basically taken the launch of GTA 6 as a tool used for protest, right? They're looking at all of these anti-consumer practices stacked on top of one another, even inventing new ones with the Netflix timed exclusive ad. And they're looking at that and saying like, okay, this is the best way to protest all of the things that we hate about the modern gaming industry. Okay, it's digital only, it's filled with greedy monetization practices, it uses FOMO tactics for marketing even, which is insane, and they're not even willing to show us actual gameplay of the game that we're supposed to be paying for, right? So in essence, it's almost not even about GTA 6, if that makes sense. Like, GTA 6 is the one suffering the damages, but it's more about what everything GTA 6 represents with regards to modern gaming. Because really, Rockstar and Take-Two are pushing pushing the envelope as far as they possibly can, right? And I want you guys to do a little let's do a little experiment here. Okay, let's say you're excited for GTA 6. Wouldn't be surprising. Okay, lots of people are excited for the game. If you are very hyped for the game, ask yourself this: what would Rockstar have to do to make you not extremely hyped for the game? Right? Last minute raise the price to $150. Would that move the needle for you? I think a lot of people would say no, shockingly. What if they delayed the game again? If they delayed the game another 6 months or a year as a result of this leak, perhaps? Would that make you lose hype for the game? Would it be the game featuring a certain political agenda baked into the story? Would it be them literally knocking on your door and just punching you in the face and then walking away? Like, where do you draw the line as a consumer when it comes to actually pushing back against these greedy practices? And that is apparently the goal of Take-Two and Rockstar, is to just push the envelope as far as they can, right? They're going to push it right to the limit of what customers will actually put up with so they can maximize their profits. I mean, that they have a whole team, I'm sure, dedicated to figuring out what that limit actually is. So them being the target of something like this is not surprising at all. But what is surprising is the real reason why CYBERLEEK is actually doing this. And this is the part where, oh man, we kind of reached a situation where this is like, you know, it's the right message but the wrong messenger. Okay, this is a classic example of that. And the reason that I say that is because CYBERLEEK themselves, they have out of the gate ruined their own reputation, and there's really no other way around it. Even myself, who looks at their 3 listed commandments and I'm like, yep, all 3 are bangers, all 3 are spot on, all 3 are true, I agree with all of them, right, to the T. Even couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so even myself, who 100% agrees with everything in their edict, they still have poisoned the well. They still have ruined their reputation on day one, and the reason is because they have undermined their own principles with their so-called secret project. You guys remember we talked about this before when we were reading the edict. They said they have a secret project. Well, it turns out that they are funding this secret project through a meme coin, which is cryptocurrency. Okay, and if you look at any of the videos or pictures or anything that they have leaked, there are QR codes and, you know, promotions for this cryptocurrency that they're trying to make money off of. Okay, and this is where things get a little bit unfortunate, because here's the deal: a secret project, I'm not buying it, right? And I don't think anybody is. I don't think there's a secret project. In fact, I think that the legal fees that they are going to incur from leaking this information are going to far exceed anything that they make from this meme coin. Okay, and there will be nothing left over for a secret project, even if there is one, which I don't think that there is. Frankly, if I'm being honest with you guys, I think a big component of why they did these leaks is they just want to make money. Frankly, I mean, is that a real shocker, right? I mean, like, let's use Occam's razor here for a second. Okay, if they can make a bunch of money off of this leak, then they're going to do it, and they're going to pocket the money and disappear into the night, masked vigilante. And you know what they'll do is they will co-opt the current ideology that is on Twitter surrounding game ownership, physical media, using Sony's backlash against them here. They basically just took the most important things that people like myself have been preaching on the channel, right? I mean, physical media, this whole shelf right here, all video games, even part of this other shelf, you can't even see it's above the camera, but even there's more games on that shelf as well, books and everything. I love physical media, I love physical discs, digital pre-orders are bullshit, and the game industry needs to be forced to stop killing games. All those things I agree with, but you know, when you attach a cryptocurrency to it, it's like, bro, come on, you know, like, obviously you're doing this for money, you're using this sort of movement of game preservation, and you're co-opting that and kind of, you know, using that as the shield for criticism and saying like, look, I believe all the same things you believe, I'm just using this cryptocurrency to, you know, pay my legal fees or to attack other evil companies or something, right? And like, look, maybe it's true, but it's probably not. I mean, like, what are we talking about? They're just gonna pocket the money. We've seen this what, 50,000 times now? I mean, how many times do coins have to be rug pulled before people stop giving them money? And every single one, let me just remind you, every single one claims to not be a rug pull. Do you understand, right? Like, obviously they're gonna claim they're not a rug pull, and then they all get rug pulled. That's weird how that happens. Or how does that keep happening? They keep saying it's not, and they're lying. What they're lying? No way. I can't look at this secret project and take it seriously. frankly. Okay, even if it's real, they didn't do this the right way. They didn't go about this the right way. And in fact, you know, you can even kind of criticize their strategy to begin with. And by that, I mean, is bad things happening to Take-Two and Rockstar morally justified? Yes. There's not even, we can't even discuss that, right? I mean, like, everyone living in reality agrees corporations should have bad things happen to them, right? I mean, like, what are we talking about, right? Like, if we can't even agree on that, then you're not even living in reality. You're in some other, like, white knighting for corporations land where I don't live there. I don't know what that is. Like, I never want to live there, right? Like, absolutely not. I've seen glimpses of that, and I don't want to do that. Okay. However, does that mean that they should have hacked GTA 6, leaked GTA 6? Should they have done it? Look, probably not. And I know it's a nuanced take. Okay, there's nothing the internet hates more than a nuanced take, but I'm gonna have one here. Okay, I don't care that bad things are happening to Rockstar and Take-Two. I don't. In fact, I almost celebrate it, right? Because I think it's good that bad things happen to bad people. But at the same time, you know, if I were presented with a button that said, if you press this button, we leak GTA 6, would I press the button? Probably not, right? I don't think that using tactics like this, which are illegal, right? I mean, like, straight up, well, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about literal illegal activity, okay? Hacking their servers, distributing their content without their permission before it's even publicly available, obviously all illegal, right? And so just because you disagree with them and you're morally justified to do so, still doesn't necessarily mean that you should be allowed to or should even want to leak this type of information. Now, again, I know that's a nuanced take. I know not everyone's going to agree with that. Some people are going to say, nope, do it, whatever you have to do, and I'm sympathetic to that mindset, right? And I do kind of lean that way in some aspects, but at the end of the day, I think if you applied that to everything, then what kind of society would we live in, right? Like, who decides where the line is drawn when it comes to morality, right? Like, in this case, it's obvious, it's black and white, it's clearly they're being extremely greedy with the rollout, everyone can see it, right? But there's going to come other things that are way more gray area, and then it's like, well, okay, well, now who decides, right? And the answer is the law, unfortunately. I mean, we as a society have collectively agreed that that is the way that we should do things. We've done it for hundreds, if not thousands of years. There's been, I mean, we're going off on a tangent at this point, but my point is laws exist for a reason. And even if you're morally justified in breaking the law, that doesn't mean that you probably should. And then when you attach a crypto coin to it, it's like, bro, what are we talking about now? Now it's like, I don't even know if I can really get behind your whole movement, because I don't even think you're in it for the right reasons to begin with, right? Like, it seems like you're clearly just trying to make some money off of this. And unfortunately, what I think is going to happen is they're going to get absolutely shafted. I mean, they are going to get sent to the shadow realm, and I do think that they will regret doing this, but who knows? Along the same lines as this, we actually see the Stop Killing Games movement over on Twitter released an official statement regarding this leak. Stop Killing Games released this statement yesterday about the GTA 6 footage leak situation. Footage from GTA 6 has leaked, and a group of hackers whom we will deliberately not name here to avoid giving them further attention claims responsibility. The footage itself appears to be genuine. Take-Two has already been hitting with DMCA takedowns, and the speed of those strikes is itself a strong signal of authenticity. The group is using the leak to promote a meme coin, attaching crypto links and QR codes to the footage and asking people to pay for more. Do not send these people your money, no matter how much sympathy you may feel for their actions. This is illegal, and frankly, we feel for everyone at Rockstar having to go through this ordeal again, especially just over a week before Rockstar's own official extended look premieres. Just to clarify, okay, I agree, I feel bad for the individual people who worked on this. I do not feel bad for the company itself, okay? Even a little. I don't even feel a little bit bad for the company itself. I don't give a fuck about the company. Anyway, they go on to say, using illegal means to make a point is unacceptable to us and does nothing to protect our right to keep using what we paid for. No matter how strongly you disagree with the decisions of upper management at these companies, there are still thousands of developers who worked hard on this project, and they're the ones being hit the hardest. Channel that frustration into something constructive instead. This kind of act is destructive and helps no one. Worse, it risks tarnishing the reputation of our communities and our chances chances to make change. History isn't on the leaker's side either. The last person who did this to Rockstar back in 2022 ended up with an indefinite hospital order. This isn't a cause worth risking your money or your future on. We seriously doubt that the hack was seriously for that reason. And that is pretty much it, folks. This user says, don't send them money. I agree, but leak it all and let these scumbag companies burn. I don't care about them. And I think that's kind of where a lot of people land on this. Sometimes you have to break a few rules to level the playing field. Unfortunately, look at what the executive at Ubisoft did. I totally agree. So yeah, Stop Killing Games is kind of getting a little bit of backlash here, right? Congrats, you just proved the hacker's point by siding with the big corps. You're the real bum here, going against the community and consumer rights with that bullshit. So look, again, I see where Stop Killing Games is coming from, and I also agree that breaking the law isn't necessarily the route that we should go as communities, right, to get what we want. It's not a great long-term strategy, right? If you land yourself in jail, it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, I genuinely don't have any sympathy, even a fiber in my being do I give a fuck about Take-Two or Rockstar, especially seeing the gameplay and noticing that it is not a generational leap. I know it's 3-year-old footage, but like, I just, the consumers are getting fleeced here, okay? And I just can't feel bad for a corporation doing that to its paying customers. And so just to be clear, the way that you can arrive at the conclusion that it's morally correct for bad things to happen to companies like this and yet still kind of wish it didn't happen is because of what Stop Killing Games said, in that the actual best thing that we can do is push the movement forward in a more legitimate way that actually gives consumers real protection moving forward, instead of relying on some vigilante justice that's illegal and is not a good long-term strategy, right? And when you kind of co-opt the pro physical media, pro consumer rights for digital content movement, when you co-opt that with illegal activity, it kind of tarnishes it, right? Because then when there is a real sort of solution or bill that's drafted or whatever the case might be that makes its way through the US government, these big gaming companies can sort of lobby against that and say, look, like, these guys are just trying to damage our companies and our businesses because all of their ideologies are what was cited when we got hacked and our stuff got leaked and all this other stuff, right? So again, that's kind of where the nuance lands, where it's like, okay, I don't feel bad that this happened at all, but like, the correct path forward isn't just hack every company forever in perpetuity through some vigilante justice, right? Because that's just not a sustainable strategy moving forward. It's better to have a more legitimate movement that actually gets things passed into law, so customers actually have protections against these big corporations and gives us actual real rights to content that we pay with our money for, whether that means the preservation of physical media or some other digital rights strategy that is taken. That's the correct path forward, not some meme coin backed vigilante justice, even though I kind of get where they're coming from. But this whole story has been so fascinating to me because GTA 6 tried to have absolute ironclad control over the rollout of this game, such that they were getting into partnerships with Netflix, which was obviously financially beneficial to them, only to have that control ultimately ripped from them by a hacker group just days before that big reveal. And again, it's almost poetic until you look at the finer details of there being a crypto coin involved, the fact that this is super illegal. It's like, it makes it really hard to pick a definitive side. But what I can say is at least the principles that the hacker group are citing, whether it's the real reason they did this or not, I frankly think they probably just did it for the money. I mean, what are we talking about? Obviously, right? Obviously they would do that. But at the end of the day, I can at least get behind the commandments they listed. Whether they truly believe it or not, whether they should have done the illegal activity or not, is not really up for me to decide or be the judge of. But what I can say is that their commandments are spot on, and not a fiber of my being feels bad for Rockstar or Take-Two for this, because frankly, they are facing the consequences of their own actions, right? And I think this is one of the things, like I saw even on Twitter, you know, a lot of people were making fun of them for this, honestly, because the gameplay does not look super compelling telling when you think about it took 13 years. But I do also see some people kind of rushing to the defense of GTA, which is really embarrassing. Like, if you're an adult and you're doing that, like, you got to just go touch grass. Like, that's really sad. It's almost as bad as the Pokemon community. But anyway, actions have consequences, right? And I think Rockstar is learning that lesson the hard way here when it comes to the greedy rollout of the game. This was posted on Twitter. I see the same old Rockstar dog shit controls where your character handles like a boat for no reason. This has 20,000 likes and almost 1 million impressions at the time of recording this. This user says, leaked GTA 6 gameplay looks so underwhelming, bro. They deadass waited 10 plus years for a Red Dead 2 with cars. Almost 250,000 impressions with that one. This user tweeted, I'm sorry I'm not the biggest gamer and I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but this doesn't seem to look any different than a GTA 5 clip. And again, they're kind of right. I mean, they are. You watch the footage, it looks like any other GTA game, and it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this user says, you have to feel bad for Rockstar right now. Nah, lol. We had Mudahar over here tweeting out, I'm so glad now GTA 6 didn't have a physical copy. Glad those couldn't be used to leak the game or anything. Again, it's all poetic. It's all poetic. Everyone said one thing and then the complete opposite thing happened. They wanted the Netflix thing to be the way everyone saw the game, and then the footage came out for everyone to see for free. Everyone said, oh, there's no physical copy, so it doesn't get leaked, and then it gets leaked for everyone for free. Like, it's just, you can't make this stuff up, folks. But anyway, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you drop a thumbs up on it. It really helps out the channel a ton, and you might think you're subscribed because you've seen a couple of my videos, but you're actually not. Double check down below.